We all pulled ourselves out. Running through, we found ourselves back into the study as we sort of looked around. All right, let's go.
Okay, let's go. This way.
All right. We started moving. And as we did, there's a sound started to pop up from nearby as one of the vents in the room started to push. However, somewhat luckily, a chair seemed to have been positioned slightly on top of it. And as a number forcibly started to burst through, we all managed to make it to the door before a pouring of dolls started filing out. As we started pulling out, we went to that main hall where the picture of Varnus had been so suddenly taken.
There he is.
As moving through, hi everyone! Oh wow, what's going on?
Wait a second. I rushed forward. Without a moment's hesitation, I pulled the umami doll from my bag and started to slap the man with it. Umami! 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 Umami!
Yes! Oh my god! I don't know what that means! What is it? Ma'am, what are you doing on Yayo?
I try to convey. My eyes quickly darted backwards over to Garchus, the master of ventriloquism!
Oh!
Umami? Umami. Umami. Umami.
Oh!
I quickly guided Ganglion ahead, using Umami's corpse, question mark, as almost like a prod, a combination of Garcherness's extreme ventriloquism skills and my own puppeteering. I guided him towards
Me.
the first side of the room.
Wait a minute! I might not know what she's saying, but I recognize that tone of voice anywhere. I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry! I didn't do something bad! I'm so sorry!
Umami. Umami.
I'm worthless, I know! You don't have to tell me!
Umami.
I'm so sorry!
Umami.
Oh.
Umami.
Okay, I'll stop. What do you want me to do?
Towards the door.
Oh, okay. We'll go. Oh.
Please, can you follow us? I cannot keep this up for very long.
I was just sort of stunned. Okay. Let's go. Wow, this will make a good story. Oh, ma'am, please respond.
Umami.
Okay, sorry.
We traveled into the room with no time to spare with the dolls hot on our heels.
Okay, what's next? I heard the sound of chutes beginning to pop. One directly next to us was almost shoved open in that moment as two dolls poured out one by one from the sides. There they are. You're ignoring us again. You put a chair over that chute. That's so rude. Oh, more dolls. Hi there, Madam Bitter. I betrayed you. I'm so sorry.
Umami.
I'm so sorry, you bastard. In a sudden moment, as we were inching closer to the door, I heard the sound of another vent opening beneath as more dolls began to pour out. And along with that, a noise which strangely seemed a bit different in its usual infection. Mommy?
I gotta take the shot.
Mommy? The sound of a bow firing and then impacting against the walls, and arrows slammed directly through the doll, and it sort of hung there for a moment as very quickly gangling along. Wow, what was that noise? I couldn't hear. I was screaming too loudly.
Umami.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should be paying attention to you. And Madam, I'm sorry. Where were we going?
I used Umami's flappy, disconnected arms to gesture towards the north side of the room.
Umami. Umami.
Ganglion, you fool! Don't you know? Aren't you paying attention? That's not the real umami. It's separate. Look! She quickly showed her ribbon from behind. At that moment, Ganglion stopped and turned and put his attention to umami, seeing it not connected to really anything. He stopped for a moment, and then spoke. Wow, you really got me with that one. That's great. I love that. Keep up that initiative. You know, that's a really good thing. You could do a doll show, you know that, Yayo? Wow, did you do the voices all yourself?
I paused and considered this for a moment. It's not over quite yet. Flashing another look to Gartrinus, the only one that could connect this fake umami up. The farce could continue. What are you talking about?
Wow, Yayo, you shouldn't believe it. You know, I've also gotten good. I took it to heart that I needed to really work on my kindness.
Yeah?
So I've learned a new sort of skill I've been using. You see, now I understand that sometimes profuse flagellation is required for any public servant to maintain all effectiveness. I've been managing to cry even louder and whine even more.
That's
but in a
so
very,
impressive.
Yes, after all, the pain that I suffer seems to be of benefit to others.
Why are you saying you don't recognize your mistress? The person you serve? That's
but that's just because it's
I don't
it's not connected.
I don't wanna like Ganglion, you're being rude.
Ooh.
I know that's not true, but I'm very sorry. Sure, what would you like, Miss Umami?
I unleashed a quiet sigh of relief under my breath, inhaled, and then resumed the character acting. Umami? 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 Umami.
The one known as Sour seemed to speak up next for a moment as she called out, Ganglion, don't you see that's not her? Bitter, though, however, seemed to interrupt. I'm not too sure anymore.
Flinging one of my last needles into the back of the corpse of Umami. In the impact of the needle hitting the doll's back, putting a thread back there, there was a casual flip of the doll's hand, sassily, as though she owned Ganglion and none of these lesser dolls could ever have such a privilege. Umami.
Ma'am, that's so kind of you. I'm so happy that you think of me so highly as an employee. I think.
Umami.
Okay, I think.
Umami.
Okay, I'm going. Hang on. Excuse me, Miss Zahn. I know you've stabbed me a number of times today, but I'd like to come in to say... The door closes. There seemed to be some wretched screams of some kind that went for a bit. The dolls slowly took attention as they saw us running past. I scooped up Umami out of curiosity. One of the chefs tried to stop me and get me to go back to work, but I quickly shoved it aside and sort of moved past, following everyone as we all went inside the room. The dolls started retaliating, getting together to try to give us a chase. But as we came into the room, in a split notice, it seemed that Ganglion was already gone. I could see some splashes of acid that had hit the floor, but otherwise, it seems he was vanquished or vanished, probably more likely, rather quickly, as we stood in and what we saw on the inside was that entity, Zahn Aozaragul. She sat with her legs perched on top of the couch, bending backwards, much like a bird nesting on a branch. She sort of seemed to stop, arcing down. Her sword was out, and you could see that a few drops of that acidic substance were slipping off it bit by bit. It seemed to nestle onto the couch as it sort of soaked in as she stopped, turned over once more, and saw us all present there. In that moment, the dolls all seemed to rush and bust and burst out of the fireplace, all pushing their way the best they could, emerging out, and then stopping as one of them tried to speak up again, bitter, calling out, "You all, get out of here! This fight is between us. There's no time to deal with this woman right now." And then, almost interrupting, "Now, stop. No more talking. For 10 seconds. Thank you. You there. Small ones. I've been meaning to talk to you. She stood a bit, still nestled. Her head seemed to turn, but the rest of her body almost seemed still. The dolls also sat still, almost floating in the air for a moment as they looked and watched. One of the dolls almost seemed to sort of approach for a moment.
You killed me! That was so rude! And I was the only one who was killed, well, I guess Sweet was too, but she did it herself. That was her fault. I was just trying to be nice. What do you have against me, huh?
In a somewhat swift motion, it seemed that the rapier almost stabbed out, poked into the mouth of the doll, and then sort of pulling it out like a shish kebab, just sort of pulled the thing away and held it, ripping away from the string as it almost seemed to hang there for a bit as she sort of looked at the doll.
I said, please come in.
Right. Coming right in.
Uh-huh. Who is this? Is this that lady? The bird?
Yeah, just don't say anything stupid, please.
Okay.
We all closed in slightly, approaching, getting a little bit closer, as one of the dolls, Sweet, began to speak up again.
Well, if you want to talk to them, that's quite fine, Zahn. Just remember, we're all friends here in the dungeon, right? Every one of us is a loyal servant of the Lich, besides them maybe now. So just keep that in mind, and we've got to go. Umami! Yeah, no, Mommy, let's go.
Sweet seemed to drag Umami away as Bitter harumphed and left. Salt lingered a moment, turning her direction over to the Goloins as she spoke.
I'm gonna make sure you regret this.
She pulled back, going into the fireplace. The other doll was deposited for a moment, sort of slung off the sword and sort of scattered on the ground again, spreading off. As now, so quickly, had Ganglion been there, the dolls had been there, but now it was just us and her. And the one skeleton seeming to paint in the bottom left corner, but it didn't seem to really engage with any of us.
So, what are you doing here?
What?
Causing a lot of trouble by the looks of it?
Well, yeah, to some extent. I'm gonna be honest. It's mostly that the dolls were kind of causing trouble with us.
Troublesome little things.
She seemed to hold the sword to her side, continuing to rest and not really speaking, as if waiting for a silence to be filled.
We actually discovered a hidden library. And
The library?
yeah. And the second we happened upon it, all of the dolls turned on us. It turns out that their role of going around the dungeon and collecting different champions was all just a manipulation. Like, they're all clearly conspiring. They all just showed up in this room all together.
The dolls, they're always conspiring. So treacherous little things. I'll have no part of it.
Oh, that's really good news, actually.
But I'm quite curious. Say, what were you doing in the assembly room? Once you left, I came back and it was all broken and destroyed. Poor little Goloins, and a corpse doing that. I found myself curious. I have so many questions.
Well, we're happy to answer, and thankfully, we brought along the most eloquent storyteller of our village.
I could feel Etete's presence shifting. She felt herself being shoved on a pike.
I don't really have anything to say. I mean, come on.
But your beautiful
What do you want me-
verbiage.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
I want you to spin your. Okay. Let's look at the room, Entite.
Okay.
She obviously appreciates the arts. That skeleton's painting over there. There's like a piano off in the corner.
Okay.
You know what you are? You are an artist
What am I?
of words.
An artist. Yeah. I'm an artist.
You're an artist.
Okay. Okay.
So it's time to wow her, regale her with the story thus far.
Okay.
I watched as Etete stood up, moving a little bit closer than anyone else had. As she sort of looked up, I could see the trembling in her legs as she spoke to the large creature behind on the couch. As she spoke and told a tale, over time, it seemed to calm her to speak, tell a story. Let everything that had been known be known. She'd learned of our travels through the cave, at least as far as Etete was aware, and after a bit of time, she seemed to shift her attention slightly.
Yes, stories, I see. You are all braver sounding than I've heard. This is different. Is it true that Goloins are cowards that hide beneath the rocks and throw things at others?
We're not cowards.
Well put.
I see.
There was a slight tone. I could not tell if it was disappointment or what it was, but there seemed to be something about her that seemed to shift as her head started twisting further into the direction of the one who had just talked.
Arcot, you would always seem to be the sneakiest one. Very good at hiding, and yet you're not a coward? Tell me about that. I'm so curious.
Sneaking around isn't the mark of a coward.
I see.
Just means that the others weren't strong enough to see me.
Oh, how interesting, how interesting. Cowardice is not strength, but neither is hiding cowardice. For if you win with a strike that's so swift and painful and quick, it's up to them to see it coming. You have a real fencer's mind, Arcot. I see. Yes, tell me more. That one.
An excitement filled her voice for a moment as she poured into Strege.
Why do the ones known as, the horned ones, call him Kaich?
I sit here listening to this. She said the word wrong. But I simply just stand here. What do you think it means?
Nothing good, I suppose. But I'm so curious. Are you a Goloin? At first I thought you were a small child, but it seems as though they don't take ownership of you, which makes me wonder, were you a Goloin of some kind?
I think to myself, this matter is quite complicated. This person just seems like someone who's interested in learning. As I look over at Gartrinus, a person who I haven't really fully told the truth of my existence, I simply speak. I'm part Stroll and part Goloin. That's pretty much all to it.
I see.
It's not a complicated matter.
No, not at all.
If I may ask, what are you?
You could see her expression shift for a moment. She sort of, the vaguest bits of an extra bit of smile seemed to pop over the other side. Being asked a question like that seemed to excite her.
Me. I am one from far. 12 million miles across the crust, the flying castles of Remangul. I am Zanao's oracle, and I have come for a worthy fight. And I have not been able to find one, but you have to understand how vexing that is. Are you aware of me, of my people?
We've heard some things about the War of the Stake. Things relative to your people.
That's what they call it. More of a finger than a stake, I'd say, but I understand. I'm so curious about you because you are all so weak, as I've heard. But you have toppled an assembly. You have snuck around, dealing blows to people who don't even know you're there. And that reminds me of the exact type of enemy I fought in that war. Curious. Everyone here is so weak, so primitive. But they won. They pushed us away. And that makes me wonder how they did it. And I think I'm starting to see why. Cowardice is not sneaking, and cowardice is not weakness even. A small, weak little thing can be so brave. Can stab you in a place where you least expect. I think Goloins are like that. No?
Well,
She seemed to turn her head in every which direction, looking across at us.
well, it's like you said earlier. You earlier prized a quick blow from the unknown, something that settles a fight quickly. I don't think settling things quickly, efficiently, is a matter of cowardice. I don't think being inefficient or loud or brazen or going out in the open is bravery, on the other hand. I think what matters at the end of the day is results, right?
And let me ask you something. Is the mindset you share about us the same that your whole culture shared about the people you fought?
There was a strange noise. It seemed from her throat that there was some type of emanation of sound. It was like a croak, a dogged, rough sound. I couldn't tell if it was a laugh or if it was something else, but it seemed to emerge out before her voice sort of returned back to one we could understand.
I take no care for what my people think. Our culture is defined by strength, by greatness, by those who are high enough. It does little to know what the others in the finger would hold, what they thought of the war. I never ask. I find it far more important to understand where I shall gather my next bauble.
Yet, just the same, you surround yourself with art and the products of different cultures. Why?
Another sound seemed to emerge. Now I could tell it was a laugh.
Well, you see, there are so many beautiful things in the world. So many wonderful circumstances to see. And any of them that exist are simply mine to take. Yes?
Oh boy.
I had spent the time listening carefully to this woman, watching her probe the histories of my friends as though it were things that she found so easy to ask, questions without weight. And then as it proceeded for her to discuss how many things that she felt entitled to, how she acted when she passed us the first time, and voiced, even if not directly, that she was entitled to us as objects. I felt wretched after that first time, and I don't think I would let it happen again. It's curious, Zan.
I saw her head tilt, the entire thing shifting around.
Oh, the tailor.
The one and the same. Have you taken cause to remember my name, or shall I repeat it for you?
Speak it.
Gartrinus Kanakana, expert tailor and Goloin historian. For the desire you have for things to own, you have spent a very long time within Ahu, in a house you did not build.
Ahu. I have heard that name before. Yes, the mountain. Oh, how he screamed, how he cried when he heard the word. And you speak it so brazenly.
Why not? It is only right to learn the name of where we reside.
Another sound, that guttural, the laugh emerging out.
Why not indeed? Excellent. Excellent, excellent. You're all so brave. And you have yet to even ask me what you came here for. That is true politeness. The others led so quickly. Asking, begging, demanding, threatening. Ah, but questions. I am in a good mood now. What is it you've come here for?
After hearing the tone and tenor of the conversation, I had approached with one goal. I had approached with a thick bag of cash, hoping to win the services of this person over. After all, if we're all, to some extent, being manipulated by not only the Lich's wishes, but the dolls, we should all be allies here. But as I looked at my companions, and as I turned over what she said, I realized such a thing would not be so simple. But she did very much provide us the clue that we needed to earn her, maybe not her service, but at the very least her respect. We've come to formally issue a challenge.
I could hear the sound of her entire body reeling and turning. The necklaces seemed to click on her neck as she turned them. Leaning forward, her entire head seemed to dip. You could almost see what her face looked like underneath. That smile had grown even bigger. It started to arc. You could see it almost turn into almost a solid V on her face as her entire face bent in a way that was not possible of any species I had seen in all of my travels. As she turned and looked directly at Yayo.
A challenge?
Mm-hmm.
My, how brave. What are your terms?
Very simple. It seemed, well, at first, I wanted to come in and, I don't know, settle this face to face, but as you noticed, we're much better at sneaking around, right? I want to prove that our quick and to the point method is actually effective, that there's strength here. So, it's very simple. By the end of the next 24 hours, you will submit to us in defeat. That much is a guarantee. If you outlast the 24 hours, it's your win. No questions asked. But...
Are these your terms?
I nodded.
In the middle of Yayo speaking, there was a burst of movement so swift that it was hard to keep track of. Immediately after agreeing to the terms, the beast almost seemed to launch itself. All of the light above us seemed to get blotted out for such a moment that it was hard to keep track, but I could tell. The form had shifted its movement and landed directly down. And as I turned, my expression widened. A rapier was hefted, and I felt the metal pierce in through my skull and stab me directly in the center of my brain. And everything went dark. The last words I could hear:
I accept your terms to test the Goloins.
They say it's been too long. It's so nice to see you. You're a good friend of mine. So long farewell at you. No, I can't believe, oh no, not words from thee, but said in facsimile, yearning for that distant we. So I'm searching for near eternity, but I don't know where I should be. Love of branch, no family tree, no friends I have to see. An unfriendly propensity is my natural state to take flight in perpetuity. And so echo back is only me, cut off from preciously